You're watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. Today I wanted to talk to you about this pattern of Rough Rider knives called the Sowbelly Trapper, and I believe there's just these 4 of them in the entire series of these knives for this pattern. You've got one possible exception if you want to add this Wally Marshall knife that's actually a Buck brand knife, but made special factory order by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And if you'll recall, this main blade had a serrated edge to it, but you can see the appearance of the spade blade that is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, the same knife. So you could probably throw that one in to be number 5 on the total number that they've made, but obviously with an asterisk next to it, right, because it's a Buck. But I enjoy this pattern because it's so similar in shape to a normal Sowbelly, which I've got the turquoise peak Rough Rider here as an example, and you can see the shape of the knives pretty similar. One of the main differences being the height of the handle just being a fraction larger, and also the blades are obviously different, but the width of the knives is ever so slightly wider with the Trapper than the Sowbelly. But for the reason of the shape, I found that these are pretty appealing, and I'm not a big Trapper guy, but I do enjoy these just because they have such a nice spade blade on them. That's the blade you don't really get a large one of very often, so it's nice to have the option to have a larger spade blade. Let's go over each of these. This is the Buckshot Bone, and this is the Brown Jig Bone, and this is the Tobacco Bone, and this is the Blue Smooth Bone. So the Buckshot Bone has a large box, and it's the only one that does of the 4. And you've got this horse and buggy, and on the inside of the box you got this little blurb about riding shotgun. You guys can pause that and read it if you'd like, but you got this nice old-timey type box, nice feel to it. But that was model number RR1908. So there's your Buckshot Bone. Let's take a look at it. Nice. You know, they just kind of recreate what a buckshot will look like, I suppose, if you hit the side of some wood or something, and recreated that. This dark color over the top of the white bone. You can notice these red underliners they put on this one, kind of added a nice little color touch. Got your R slant bolster on this side, and just a regular fluted bolster over on this side with the pinches. And that's back. Here's a look at your blades and how they're oriented here. So at the front of the knife, you've got the main blade, and this one's just your typical clip blade, a little bit larger than the Sowbelly, which makes sense because of the depth, so you got a little more belly to the blade. This one has a reverse etching on it. It says Rough Rider, and it's got a match strike pole, and you've got a nice swedge all the way down about 3/4 the length of the blade, which is a little different from that other clip blade. And tang stamp there is the reversed R, and then on the other side you got the model number in China, and then the 440 razor sharp steel etching on the blade. So there's your main blade, and there's what it looks like opened up. Let's take at this other blade, which is, to me, even more fascinating. Got a nice belly to that spade blade, I thought. So it kind of differentiates this knife from a lot of other knives. And again, you got a match strike pull, and then you can see the angle of the blade there's Nice little downward angle there. If you look at the springs and the handle and the finish, it's they kind of cheat with those red underliners, so everything can be nice and perfect, and it is. And the shield's well inlaid. The pins are very well polished. Those are nice and smooth on this one. So they did a really good job on both sides, and the handles are, you know, similar in appearance. They don't look like they belong to a different knife or anything. And then your springs are about as good as you're going to get on a Rough Rider on this particular one. Just a small gap here, but that's really about it. Transition between the bolsters and the handles are real good. So really well made knife. This one just seems more rugged than a regular Sowbelly, and it's for good reason, because it's just a little bigger knife and a little bigger blades. Nice walk and talk on that. Not that that's that important to me, but I know it is to some of you guys. So no blade rub or anything, so real happy with that one. Thought they did a good job on it. And you know, all these others are going to be the same, so we'll just kind of go over the handles and kind of give you a chance to look at the fit and finish of it. This one has pretty nice springs as well. I don't really see any major gapping. A little gap there on the bottom right. But this has a really nice color to it. Kind of a caramel, creamy caramel. Makes me hungry for a Snickers bar. And yeah, the back's even got a little more character to it. A little more difference in color tone there. But again, the blades, if you guys want to look at the tangs, all the tang stamps are going to be the same. And the belly, nice walk and talk on this one too. These are all made about the same time, I think, and they offered them as a set of 4 that you could buy for $50 on Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Of course, they're always sold out, so then you got to buy them individually, right? Which makes 0 sense to me, because, like, I guess the packaging is the problem. Why not just offer them in a group? I don't know, but I think they're all sold out right now except for the Blue Bone. I think they still have that one in stock, which is insane to me, because it's probably the prettiest of the 4, if you ask me. Let's take a look at the round jig bone. And when you get these kind of knives, guys, just a little tip. They need to be hand polished just with a rag to get all that black junk out of the grooves of the handle, because there's a lot of polishing compound or whatever that's left in there, and it's good to get that out of there to clean up your knife a little bit. So if you ever get like a jigged bone handle where there's some really deep grooves, it's probably not a bad idea to get a Q-tip out and kind of go through those grooves to get it cleaned up. Same with that R. It's always crap in that R too. And I actually haven't even cleaned this that much. I did a little bit before putting it on camera, but just kind of give it a little quick wipe down, but I definitely spend more time on it. So you get the bow tie shield on this one. Kind of neat. I've always kind of thought that looked like the Chevy emblem, so I guess that's why I call it a bow tie. And then you got your pinched R bolster, and it's a little ring bolster on that side as well. Here's the back. You can tell it matches up pretty nice. No real issues with color difference. And take a look at your blades. So your RR reverse stamp on the main blade, and then again the walk and talk, real nice. Real firm pull on this one. I think this might be the firmest of the ones I've pulled out so far. Not that any of them are real weak, but that one was firmer than usual. And again, RR tang stamp and half stop on the spade blade. But to me, this is the reason to get the knife, unless you just well, I guess if you're like me and you like the Sowbelly shape to the knife, then that's a reason, but this would be a bonus. So I would say that's probably the weakest of the pulls, so that's kind of funny. This is the strongest and this is the weakest. I'd say that's about a 5 right there, and this is about a 6 or 7. Yeah, those are nice. So did I show the springs? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they're pretty nice. All of these have been really well. I don't have any kind of fitting issues with these at all. So maybe it's just this pattern. They had better quality control than a lot of the others. But to me, this is the best of the 4, just in terms of the appearance. You get that old-timey looking shield, which isn't really, well, I'm not saying it's not common, because there's a lot of older patterns that had it, but in terms of what's available now, there's not a whole lot of knives with that shield on it, so it's kind of neat that they have that on there, and you don't have the R bolster, so it's kind of a holdover, I guess, from a series, because this must be like I don't know, it must be a holdover from an older series. So, but I haven't been telling you the model numbers on these. I apologize. This is model number 1951, and again, I said this earlier, but you may not remember. These 3 knives all just came in these plain boxes. So let me just pull out the boxes so you guys can take a look at the model numbers here. Okay, so 1907. This would be the brown jig bone, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, 1907. So 1906, 1907, 1908, and 1951. And these 3 again come in just the plain ordinary boxes. Buckshot Bone comes in this box. But those are the yeah, let's look at the finish on this one. You didn't get a chance to finish looking at this one. Again, it's really, really well done. You got a little gap down here on the handle, like it just has like a little small chip out of it, or maybe, I don't know, but it's not bad. But other than that, the springs on this one are ridiculous. I don't see any problems with that. I mean, that's above average quality for a Rough Rider, in my opinion. And all of these have been that way, so there must be something to that. Again, no R bolster, so you have that going for you if you want an older style looking knife. And then again, you know, I know somebody was mentioning that they like the wider bellied knives. This is a definite go-to for that situation, as long as you're not required to have a 3rd blade. You know, there's a gap in there between the blades. They could probably do a better job of fitting those in there, but you know, with them being on the same side, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, they stay thick up here at the top before they bevel down. So, but both nail nicks, they're easy access. You know, there's no problem getting to either blade with the height of it. So that's really nice. And this one's got a really nice snap to it. Wow, yeah, that's nice. So I think all of these are pretty well made. I'm betting that the quality controls on these was just a little tighter, based on what I'm seeing for the quality of them. But yeah, you got the old-timey shield that says rough on one side of the horseshoe and Ryder on the other. You got the 2 R's stacked on top of one another there on the shield. Then the blades have the reverse R stamp. Nice and snap. Nice. So all these are real nice, and I'm real happy with them. And I think if they release more, I'll be on the lookout for more of them to buy. But all that's going to depend on the handle. If I'm not happy with that, obviously I may not do that. But for now, I believe I have all of them. And then of course the buck asterisk knife there, so kind of makes for a nice series of 5 knives if you got them all. But that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Nice little review of all these. Let me know how many of these you got. These are still pretty commonly available on the secondary market. So if you need to buy one, for sure these are available. These are available on Smoky Mountain Knife Works still. So at least this one's still available. And I'm seeing all these other three on eBay quite frequently. This one still available on MrCrappie.com. A little more expensive, but to me well worth it because of the handle. Just, I mean, guys, that's a pretty superior handle there. But that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys have a good day. Make sure you like, subscribe, take care of yourselves, and have a good day.